What's going on, guys? This is your boy Rain here, and today I am going to be making a video about Paul George. Now, it is kind of surprising me making a video about Paul George in 2026 that isn't really just like ridiculing his early, the last couple of years of his career, but genuinely, this is a positive video, but not a positive video about Paul George. Essentially, we're in a position where we're not criticizing him, we're criticizing the NBA, but also it's an open conversation and a good debate, honestly, that we could have in the comments here. But also make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. I would absolutely appreciate it. But let's get right into it. So, essentially, Paul George has been served a 25-game suspension for doping. Now, what has been proven at the very least, is that there was something in his system that was not supposed to be in his system. And there is, in the book of rules, it says what things are not supposed to be in your system, and it's updated every year, or however, they update the rules every season. But the big thing here is that in Paul George's statement, he says that it was because of his antidepressant medicine, and he did not realize that it had a substance that was banned. Now, I think the conversation goes both ways here because I think that, for one, you can immediately blame Paul George for not doing the research on the medicine that he was taking. That's true. But also, you can go on the flip side and say, why did the NBA kind of rush and give him a 25-day game ban right off the gate? Didn't give him a warning. Didn't really there was no not allowing a story. It was just right off the gate. Let's just fucking suspend him for 25 games. And I think that rule needs to change in the league, personally. Now, I'm not fully going to sit here and defend Paul George entirely because I think it was a mistake that he didn't do the research that he should have done when he took the medicine that he did. Now, that being said, I do think that the NBA should be a little bit more lenient on a statement and then retracting the suspension if his statement is meaningful enough. And that they could find the evidence to prove that that substance was in his medicine, in his prescription. Because respectfully, if he gets a prescription for something like that, it's not a performance enhancing drug whatsoever. So how can you really say that he's doping? You know what I mean? And this has happened a lot in the sport before, but I feel like in the NFL, when this happened, it happened a few times in the NFL. They retracted the suspensions. They actually looked back and they investigated it. And they also did this in the UFC as well. So for the NBA to immediately strike him with a 25-game suspension is costing him $12 million. And that's gigantic for a player that once his max contract is done, he's done, right? Like, this is a player that's way past his prime. He needs every dollar that he has. Now, he's a fucking multimillionaire, so I'm not going to sit here and oh my God. You know what I mean? But I will say that, the dude doesn't deserve to get suspended. It should be an investigation that leads to a suspension. I think there should be better regulations and rules for the NBA to illustrate that, hey, this is not him doing steroids or anything like that. This is literally just him trying to cure his depression or try and at least live with it. You know what I mean? And I think that it's very unfortunate. It's a very unfortunate situation considering that Paul George just came off of the best game of his season. He has not been playing amazing this season, but he had a good game just recently, and bam, he gets striked with this shit. And obviously, the TNT crew came back on air and they talked about this openly. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and they kind of had the same shit to say. You know what I mean? Charles Barkley was very emotional about it, being like, "Bro, I don't really understand why we can't take a second look into this and investigate it." Because I think that should take more time out of your day than the actual process of doing the doping itself. Sorry, not doing the doping, but doing the testing itself. If you're willing to do the testing, then you have to do the investigation work afterwards, in my personal opinion. Now, let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you think Paul George is deserving of 25 games, boys. No way. No way. But let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. I love y'all. Have a good old jolly day. Peace out.